Hello and welcome to the show. Well, listen, I'm so glad that you could join us today. We have a great show planned for you. We're going to be talking all year about the Power of Now series. And this month, we are really celebrating staying aware, alert, and active. This is our series for this month. And it's all about being proactive. It's all about learning about the awareness of all of these issues that are happening in our communities and in our world. And so this week's guest is Miss Alicia Simmons. So I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next.
You're invited to join us for an elegant and magical night at the Black Tie Masquerade, a black and white formal event on October 22nd, 2022 at the Orangeburg County Conference Center, 1643 Russell Street, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Cocktails at 7, live entertainment by Pure, dinner at 8. Wear your exquisite black or white mask. To purchase tickets or a table sponsorship, visit www.tammymediagroupllc.com. A portion of the proceeds will benefit CASA Family Systems. Again, join us for the Black Tie Masquerade, a black and white formal event on October 22nd, 2022 at the Orangeburg County Conference Center, 1643 Russell Street, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Cocktails at 7, live entertainment by Pure. Wear your exquisite black or white mask. To purchase tickets or a table sponsorship, visit www.tammymediagroupllc.com. A portion of the proceeds will benefit CASA Family Systems. Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll.
Welcome back to the show. I'm glad that you could join us today. And if you're just joining, I was telling you that this series this month is about stay aware, be alert, and be active. And so we are talking about a really special topic to me that touches my heart. And it's about domestic violence. And this is, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so, I can't really tell you all that you need to know, but I know people who will be able to share that with you. Our next guest is a devoted wife. She's a dedicated and loving mother. She's an endearing, and I mean, when I say endearing and loving grandmother, oh my goodness. She's a producer. She's the owner of Family Engagement and Support Services. And she also is a domestic violence survivor. And so I wanted her to come on and talk with you and talk with me and just share some things. And we're just going to have a great time right now. My dear friend, Miss Alicia Simmons, come on out.
Hey, how are you?
Fine. How are you, Miss Alicia
I'm
Simmons?
I'm doing well, Miss Tammy McCartry.
That's
I have a little freezing going on my end, so just let me know if it's happening on your end as well. But
okay.
I'm so glad to be able to just share and just talk about domestic violence, and we
Yeah.
really it's a very endearing subject to me.
Yeah, and as I said, it's really one of those subjects that we talk about when we say, "Hey, it happens, and you may be going through it, and someone else may be able to help you get through it." So,
Mhm.
first of all, Alicia, before we get started, I want you to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, whew. Well, Alicia Simmons. Alicia Simmons is happily married to a wonderful man. I have 7 children in all. My oldest children that I gave birth to, Miss Drea Lee and Miss Kai Renee Scott. They're both doing very well, and my 5 bonus children. I have 7 wonderful grandchildren. No one can say anything about them. Grandma's babies, they always will be, but now they're turning into teenagers. I am an entrepreneur. I am working on my second master's degree in social work.
Mhm.
If anybody would have told me that I would be back in school at this age, the proud 50 plus, um, I wouldn't have believed it. But the work that I have done in communities definitely was education background on social work was needed because I really want to start going into therapy, being a therapist for others, and also people of color.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's just a little bit about me.
That's just a little bit about you. So, as we are talking about, and first of all, I hear that accent. So tell people your original home.
My original home is Bronx, New York.
Boogie down.
My last home was Harlem on 119th Street in St. Nicholas. Have lived in Charleston for over 20 years, but that New York accent, I got to keep it. If you want some coffee and you want to talk about something, just let me know what you want to talk about over some coffee.
That's right. That's right. Over coffee. So Alicia, I asked you to come on the show, and sometimes people don't want to talk about domestic violence. They don't want to
Mhm.
talk about being a victim. And so I want you to kind of share with us um, your perspective and how you became a victim. And when I say that, did you have any warning signs that your relationship was changing?
The warning sign was the day before I said I do.
Mm,
That's the first time I ever got slapped by my husband. Before we begin, I would like to do a disclaimer. It is not my current husband, so let me just put that out there right now.
okay.
Okay. And I will say it is my children's father, and it's a very sensitive subject because some things I have never shared with my daughters, but now they're grown women, strong Black women. Um, so again, some of the things that I am going to share may kind of trigger them. It may trigger me. It may trigger those that are going through domestic violence.
Hmm.
Because as we get ready for the Black Tie Masquerade Ball, which will be on
Yeah.
October 22nd, we're looking forward to that. But being a domestic violence victim, we always have a mask on our face. That's just something that we just constantly wear on a daily day after day. We have to put that mask on. Whether you
Hmm.
just got punched, beat up, your ribs is broken, your nose is broken, or whatever, you put on that makeup and get that concealer, child, nobody would ever know.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things that comes to mind, and a great question about how did the abuse affect your children?
Mhm. That's I would say the abuse I hid from them as much as possible. So if I knew that their father was coming home intoxicated, I had already prepared them to go play in their room and would set up their tea sets and have them already engaged in
Hmm.
something that can kind of take off them hearing anything. So when I was being abused, I'm not gonna even let's just put it out there. When I was being beaten, I had to mum my cries. In other words, I couldn't cry out or scream because my main objective was really making sure that the two young ladies that were in the other room did not hear what was going on.
Hmm. And so I want to go back when you said that first slap, and that was before you got married, before you said, I do.
Mhm.
What made you say, I do?
That's a funny story. And every time I think about it. So it was December 31st, New Year's Eve, next day, we had some friends over to the house. And again, I have to remind everyone, my children's father was, I think, 4 years older than me. So here I am, 18 years old with a guy that's in his 20s. So, never, never did. He gave me the best of everything. But on January 1st, he thought I looked at his friend a little bit too friendly and I got slapped.
Hmm.
And it took me by surprise, like, oh, what was that about? And then he said, oh, I'm sorry, baby. It's okay. And I was mad. I wasn't going to take a man slapping. How dare you slap me?
Hmm.
And the funny thing was, January 2nd, that's the date that we had gotten married in 1980, no, 1990, because Andrea was just born. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny, and I want us to be very aware. When God don't want something to happen, He give you all types of signs.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a blizzard in New York. When I say blizzard, nothing was going through or anything. And he actually called his best friend. He called my grandmother, got them over to the house. And next thing I know, we're in a taxi heading to the Justice of Peace.
Oh.
And I'm still in shock because he was all dressed up. And one of the things that he did as a form of control is that he still has a great singing voice.
Mm.
So he would sing Luther Vandross, House is Not a Home. And it was all for me. And I felt, wow, this man is singing to me, serenading me. And we
Mm-hmm.
got to the courthouse, but I stood there and I was numb. But then I had thoughts in my head. Here I am, a young mom with a child, and I was very protective of my father.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want people to say, "Oh, your daughter's like everybody else. She had teen pregnancy, and now look at her." So that's why I said I do, but it wasn't to him, but it was more for my peace of mind to make sure no one said anything about my dad.
Mm. Now that's powerful because you weren't thinking about yourself. You were thinking about the reputation that it would have, the effect of that reputation that would have on your father, that would be
Correct.
on your father. Hey,
Yes.
Dre.
Hey,
Um,
honey.
and so, having and thinking about that, looking back on that, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
I think that first slap I should have left right there and then. And you hear that as a victim. Girl, I don't know why you staying with him. You just stay with him because you just stupid. It's not that that person is stupid or they don't want to leave. It has a power and control aspect that would keep you entangled in different ways. Some, if you don't mind me giving an example, his excuse was his mother got killed when he was a young child, and he held her while she was dying. And I remind him so much of his mother and how much she loves me. And the person that I am, that was a heartstring on my part. Like, oh, this man been through so much. Maybe if I was a better wife, he wouldn't
Mm,
do this to me. A form of
mm,
manipulation.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so, having, being in an abusive relationship, the manipulation, what were some of those things that you can share with someone now that may be looking, that may be going through it and saying, oh my God, that's me? What are some
Mhm.
of those triggers or some of those controlling attitudes that you
Mhm.
can share with us?
It comes in so many forms. We know the narcissistic behavior that someone has, they think of just themselves. But the manipulation they can use your own children as a chess piece, because also my abuser was a avid chess player, or is an avid chess player, but he would use the children.
Mm,
If you do something, I'm gonna go get them. But he never laid a hand on my children. Um, you can't leave me or I'll kill myself, and it'll be on you, and I'm gonna make sure the children know that I killed myself over you. Um, it can be, if I can't have you, nobody can, so I'm gonna take both of us out. These are the things that women hear on a daily basis, or well, that's all in your mind. I didn't do that to you, especially if they're intoxicated or high.
mm,
I'm gonna do better, or serenade you.
mm-hmm,
Just,
mm,
like you're the best thing
mm-hmm,
that ever happened, and I'm nothing without you. those are the type of manipulative phrases that are used on a daily basis. Or the big thing, hurting your own parents. I'll kill your mother. I'll
Wow.
kill your father. I'll take everybody out.
Mm.
So a lot of people don't realize that victims are under so much pressure because we're so busy trying to protect our loved ones. No
Mhm.
one knew I was an abused woman. Excuse me, I can't even speak today. Because I hid it so well.
Mhm.
It was like I deserve an Emmy, an Oscar, a Tony Award because I learned to play the part so well, you would have never known. And if
Wow.
I could fool my father, then that's why I say I deserve an Oscar.
An
Because there's
Oscar.
no way.
So he never knew.
He knew, I would say, probably about the fourth year when I was kind of getting tired of the marriage.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't put enough concealer on that day, and he saw the black eye.
Mm.
And Alicia Christine, come here. Yeah, daddy. And never looked in his face. And when he saw that I could not look him straight in his eye, he was like, "What's the matter?" Then he took his finger and wiped the makeup.
Mm.
And he's like, "What happened?" I said, "Oh, nothing." And regular excuse, I bumped into you. Can't be a fist mark and a door mark are two different
Two
marks.
different
Okay,
things. Yep.
two different things.
Yes.
Falling
Yes.
down, falling down on something is two different things. And I said, "Oh, we just had an argument and we were fighting."
Mm.
I would actually take that ownership when I wouldn't say, "Well, he did it, daddy." Nope. And it was a perfect time for me to tell my daddy what was going on.
Mhm.
But again, what came to play was he said if my father ever found out, he would kill my father.
Oh my goodness. So then, some women we hear talk about the isolation. Were you isolated from your family and friends, or what was the isolation that you found yourself in, if any?
I wouldn't say I was isolated because I wasn't isolated because we were. I'm going to say it. We were Jehovah's Witnesses. We went to the Kingdom Hall. You would not believe he would. Even when I went to the elders of the congregation to report him, and that kind of turned me away from religion. Was that scripture? The man is the head of the household, and this. But does that give him a right to beat up his wife? No.
Mm.
So there was no isolation, but we women have to understand. For instance, let's say you're get married and your spouse wants to move into an area where nobody can get. It's going to take a good 45 minutes to get to you.
Mhm. Mhm.
That should be a sign. The
Yep.
further, if he doesn't want to go to family events with you, or he does, but he stays at your side the whole entire time,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's a sign. That's intimidation. But
Mm.
isolation is the key thing because using it controls what you do, who she sees, who she talks to, what she reads, where
Mm.
she goes, limiting even your outside environment. I remember just trying to go outside on the porch. Where you going? I'm just going outside to. Why are you going outside? You want to see something?
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Hmm.
Hmm.
And so, what finally made you think um, about leaving? What was that final end that you said, I'm through, I'm done?
Well, let me start. I will highlight that. So during the process of me getting abused, there was a cop friend of mine, and I promised not to use his name either.
Hmm.
Um, that would always come over when the abuser did something to me. We became great friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there were two instances. One instant was he actually came home drunk, and the smell, women knows that alcohol, that it comes from their pores, and you just know. And I had just fixed dinner, and it was one of his favorite meals. I pulled it out, said, I'll make you a plate. And he threw the pan at me and told me to start over because it didn't taste like his grandmother's meal.
Mm. Mm.
So of course I started to make dinner again, but when you start losing, as a woman, start losing your mental faculties, where I had a plan, I wrote a letter, told everybody I love them. And if you're reading this letter right now, either I'm in jail or dead.
Mm.
And I remember getting the biggest knife I could find. And he was sleeping, and going to the room. I remember giving my father a safe deposit key. I said, Daddy, if anything happened, this was prior to him finding out that I was being abused. If anything happens to me, you used to, girl, what you talking about? I said, Daddy, that's where all my dance slippers at. That's where you're going to find them. Just trying to make it a joke. But I had a knife. And it was going to be him or me. My babies were tucked in their beds in their matching pajamas. I kissed them because I didn't know if I was going to see them ever again or what was going to happen. And I remember saying, but God got you guys. And I went towards the bedroom, and as I was walking, and I can imagine the blood, the whole thing, my oldest daughter, Andrea, called me, Mommy. And I stopped.
Wow.
And I looked at the knife and I was like, it's not worth it. And I put it back.
Wow. That's almost like The Color Purple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just thinking, I'm just thinking about it, and the state, you had to be in such your mind, in a state of mind that you were going to give up everything to get rid of him. But God.
But God, that little voice, that Andrea, that mommy, and I could still hear her. And I knew I had to protect my Andrea and my Kai.
Alicia, I want to take a break. I want us to take a break, and then we're going to come right back. We're going to play these commercials, and folks will be right back.
The Curry Insurance Agency has served the community for over 30 years with hundreds of trained representatives to assist you in selecting health plans. Curry Insurance Agency is the largest marketing insurance group in the state of South Carolina for Medicare Advantage and represents all major health carriers. Curry's motto is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Call the Curry Agency today at 803-536-0889. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com. You're invited to join us for an elegant and magical night at the Black Tie Masquerade, a black and white formal event on October 22nd, 2022 at the Orangeburg County Conference Center, 1643 Russell Street, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Cocktails at 7, live entertainment by Pure, dinner at 8. Wear your exquisite black or white mask. To purchase tickets or a table sponsorship, visit www.tammymediagroupllc.com. A portion of the proceeds will benefit CASA Family Systems. Again, Join us for the Black Tie Masquerade, a black and white formal event on October 22nd, 2022 at the Orangeburg County Conference Center, 1643 Russell Street, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Cocktails at 7, live entertainment by Pure. Wear your exquisite black or white mask. To purchase tickets or a table sponsorship, visit www.tammymediagroupllc.com. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Casa Family Systems. Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll.
Welcome back to the show. I tell you what, we've been talking, if you're just joining us, we've been talking with Alicia Simmons, producer, owner of Family Engagement and Support Services, domestic violence survivor. And Alicia, thank you so much for sharing and being so transparent. You know, one of the things that comes to mind as we were talking about you getting ready to leave, but you talking about also thinking about hurting your ex-husband at that time. Not this one, everybody. But what was one thing that helped you with the effects of being abused? What has helped you?
What has helped me?
Because some people have PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD is real. It was much that voice, that just hearing my daughter's voice. And Andrea and Kai were very close growing up, and I couldn't see through the door, but I felt that they felt me about to do something. And when I went back, and when I was in the room, they both were sitting in the bed together. I didn't put them in their separate beds, and Andrea was holding Kai.
Wow.
And I was like, they need their mother. They need me. So to fast forward, throughout that relationship, because I left him when Kai was about 1.5. But during that period, he would just constantly, and I want women to hear this, ladies, your husband can rape you because you are able to say no. So it was a point of not wanting to, one, I was pregnant 5 times, but I only had 2, I had 3 live births. Andrea, then it was her brother. I had a boy afterwards, and a lot of people don't know that story, but the abuser was pushing me around while I was pregnant with his son. And I was rushed to the hospital. And I was a high-risk pregnant person. And 2 weeks after that event happened, I gave birth to almost a 2-pound boy that lived to be for 3 months. And then again, got pregnant again. Every time I turned around, I was getting pregnant. I was like, oh, what's going on? I was trying to pop birth control pills like Tic Tacs, and it didn't work. And then finally, when I became pregnant with Kai, the doctor gave me an alternative. It was going to be me or her. I did not stay on bed rest. So how do you tell an abuser that you need to stay on bed rest, and you're there in the doctor's office and you're hearing, but that didn't matter to him. I'm not getting no bed rest. You're going to get up and do what you're supposed to do. You're going to carry the groceries upstairs. You're going to do such and such. And I would say if it wasn't for his grandmother that allowed me to stay with her, Kai or myself would not be here right now.
Wow.
I was able to give birth to my youngest daughter. And as they were growing up, I did not want, it just wasn't right. I was being controlled. My checks were being taken from me. He would come to my job and make me go cash my check, and he'll take the money. And next thing you know, we don't have money for food, or our rent was being due. And when I left him, I remember telling him, hey, just want to let you know that we need to make this payment for the phones, or it's going to be cut off. And he took the phone bill and punched me directly in my face.
Wow.
I didn't cry. Instead, y'all know that Joker laugh?
Mm.
That I just kept laughing like it was just the most hilarious thing. And
Hmm.
I could not stop. He said, "Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?" And I mean, that really hearty laugh.
Hmm.
And he's like, "You're
Hmm.
crazy. And he left out.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I started getting. I got a big, large plastic bag and started putting my girls. And I didn't know where I was gonna go. And I made that one phone call to a very special person in my children's life. And he's like, where you going? I said, I don't know. We don't have a place to go. I wasn't going to my daddy house.
Mhm.
But then my daddy be in jail. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to my mom's house or my grandma's house. I didn't know where I was going to go. And this man opened up his door with no benefits, ladies. Opened up his doors for me and my children.
Oh,
And
wow.
he changed my life. He helped me to understand. I don't know if you have this graph up, the power and control graph
Yeah,
that
let's
talks
get
about.
that,
Okay.
Tiana. If she has the graph.
Okay. So
But
what?
yeah,
Mhm.
keep
Are
on,
you able
keep,
to pull
yeah.
it up?
No,
Okay.
you keep going.
Okay. Great. So this graph, when people ask why
Oh,
didn't you just leave the relationship? Unable to, that's fine. Why didn't you leave the relationship sooner? Why you stay so long? Because we're constantly getting threats. They're
mm,
using intimidation. Some intimidation will be them taking a glass and throwing it against the wall. The mental beat down that you receive,
mm,
the emotional with calling you names that you start to believe what they say that you are rather than knowing who you are. We talked a little bit about the isolation of
mm-hmm.
trying to keep, or him being so jealous and want to justify his actions of saying, well, you looked at that guy the wrong way, so I want to set you straight. The denying and blaming, the denying, I didn't do that. Or I
Right.
remember one morning he woke up and he looked at me and my face was so battered. He said, I did that to you.
Oh, wow.
And he ran out the house with a pair of pants, no shirt, no shoes, nothing, and ran to one of the elders' house because he
Wow.
could not believe what he
That
saw.
Wow. Alicia, I'm sorry we didn't get the graph.
Okay, it's
So
fine.
we're unable to pull that graph up. But if you want to kind of tell us a little bit about what that graph has in it, so that
Sure.
there are women who are looking and men who are looking that may need to understand this cycle.
Right. So the graph, and I sent it to the info email if that'll help you all as well. But the graph just shows it's circular. So sometimes you'll have that honeymoon period where everything's just all nice. He's so nice to you. You start to remember why you fell in love with him. He's doing the things that remind you on how good he is, or he'll use that sad story to pull you in. That's the cycle. Then once he starts hitting you, he'll blame you because you didn't cook the pork chops like my grandmother cooked, or because you looked um, to the right instead of the left, and a man was over there. That's the cycle. Then he goes back into how much he loves you. He's a bad person. Here's a good one. I'm going to kill myself because you don't deserve this.
Hmm.
Again, playing on the psyche. That's why it's important for us as women to understand our value,
Mhm.
understand who you are, and just minimizing or denying the blame, using your children. That is, I would say, he loved his children. He loved his children. I, I have one discerning child. Well, both of them are discerning, but one of them, it was like she knew
Mm-hmm.
that he wasn't doing her mama right, and just never really got along with him.
Mm.
which I found interesting. And I started to watch her mannerisms change
Mhm. Mhm.
towards it. She never witnessed it. That's one of the things. He never did anything in front of the kids. And then again, maybe I'm missing out because I will say some of my PTSD or things that I don't want to remember is locked behind. So the only people that would be able to share with you are my daughters.
Mhm.
Um, but the other thing about the will is that they use economic abuse. If
Mhm.
that man is controlling all your money, you stuck.
Mm. And
Stuck
and you
like
know and you know what? That brings me to the point when people always say, "Why didn't you leave?"
hmm
What do
hmm
you say to that?
it's hard to validate because when you're in that situation, do you know that you still protect that abuser? You still protect him even though all he's doing, well, no, it's not that bad. All marriages go through things, and you got to understand his past. And I we try as women to fill that gap or that void that man is missing. And that is the problems that I can definitely tell you about when it comes to the abuser using that, when
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
asking you why can't I, or anything, or why you didn't. Please stop asking an abused woman that, because you don't know. She don't have a penny to her name. Everything is in his name. She
Mhm.
hasn't built up any credit to get an apartment. She may go and work, and when she goes out to work, he comes to her job and pick up her check. When she goes grocery shopping, she has to bring back the receipt to show him
Okay.
everything that she's bought, and the change has to come back.
Mhm. Mhm.
Some men don't even give you an allowance. They say some do. They may give you an allowance, but it's just enough to buy your toiletries. They have all access to what you are supposed to have control over. Did it change me in my other marriages? Yes. Do I have a separate bank account? Do I have a joint bank account? It makes you a little wiser and smarter, but there's so much that comes with it. Sometimes a victim just needs you to listen. And those women that are going through it, you always go, "Why me?" And now
Mhm.
I'm going to the God experience. God is using me for a time such as
Such as
this.
this. Yeah. Yeah.
As I
Yeah.
continue to pursue my master's in social work, my main goal is to talk to domestic violence victims, to give them back their power. Because you
Mhm.
have a lot of women in jail right now from killing their abuser
Abuser. Mhm.
because
Exactly.
they just snap.
Exactly. Exactly. And so Alicia, that comes to when you talk about that. Do you feel that there are enough resources for domestic violence victims at this
No,
point in
no,
2022?
nope. I'm sorry. I didn't even let you finish the question.
No, 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 no. That was the question. You good. You good.
I was just looking at the stats. South Carolina alone, 42.3% of South Carolinian are women experiencing physical, intimate partner sexual violence, stalking, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Domestic violence takes a back step because, and I'm going to say now, this is going to sound. Let me just say it this way: when we report the abuse, there's still repercussions. One, he can go to jail. He gonna call you. He gonna tell you that he's gonna do such and such. A baby, I'm sorry, blah blah. You let him in. The cops notice. Or you call the cops in, and you sit there with your eyes swelling, and you say, "No, I'm okay."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you continually say, "I can help him."
Hmm.
I'm going to do what I need to do so he won't have to do what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
I was a better wife, he would be a better husband. So authorities do not take domestic violence as seriously because are you going to press charges? Now you in court. And the first thing, oh, no, I'm not going to press charges. No, we're going to be okay. But
Mm-hmm.
yet your neighbors are calling every other night because you're screaming for help. And when the help comes, you don't want to deal with the repercussions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we as women, we are the caretakers. We think that we can change this man. The best way you can change this man, and now I can talk about my husband today because he works with DV. He works with the abusers,
Mm-hmm.
and they need help. But ladies, if you don't have the skill set to help him, and that's not the skill set is not the use of your body. I'm just going to put it out there. The skill set is not filling that void for him.
Mm-hmm.
That skill set has to come from a professional, but they have to want to get that help.
Right. 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 And if they don't want to get that help, then there is, at this point, there's nothing that can be done. But do you feel that abusers can change?
I do. Because abusers, most abusers, as I'm doing my research and then also working with my husband, is that they have seen abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a cycle. That same power and control will is because their male figure in their family was whether it was their father, stepfather, whoever, uncle, grandfather, whoever, that will continues with them. So why should they be in a position to want to break the cycle? Because I'm less than a man now. Now you're telling me, especially if you not like your dad who was abusing your mother, and now you're against that. Now you less of a man.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we have to give credence to what that abuser is going through, but that still does not suggest that you stay in that relationship as he is getting help.
Exactly, exactly. And so then that comes to a point where you have abusers, like you say, when you leave, that they begin to say, "You, I'm going to find you. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to find you, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to." It's almost like they're haunting you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have this urge to feel like you want to go back. So
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about help, what kind of help is there? What is the help that's out here for domestic violence victims?
There's a lot of resources in DMV, if I'm even saying it.com. And Tiana, if you can look it up for me, the domestic violence hotline, um, and put it on the screen, that'd be great. There is a lot of resources, but it has to come a time where because you hit it on the nose, Tammy. You stated that the man threatens that he will find you. The man that took me and my children in created a woman king. Y'all gotta go see the
Mm.
movie.
Yep, that's it. Viola Davis, that's it.
Right. Okay, plug for Viola. He created that woman. He showed me my value. I used to, when a man would talk, I would flinch or, and he saw that one day. He's like, "What is the matter with you?" And I'm like, "Nothing." Yes, I know you're looking at me. You, Alicia? Yeah. Yeah, I was that submissive, wouldn't look up or talk to a man without having my eyes down. And he said, "Hold up your head, black woman."
Mm.
He says, "I'm going to show you something. An abuser will only abuse to a man."
That's right.
And I was like, "No, please, because if you go to him, he's going to hurt you." And I remember, and I'm going to share this last point, is that we were exchanging the kids. I was bringing the kids. The meeting place was my father's house, and the kids were in the car with this gentleman. I just we say EL,
Mm.
and great person with the kids, and I got out the car and I saw the abuser walking up the block, and he was already tipsy and drunk. I said, "Oh God, here we go." And he said, hey, you looking good over there. I said, hey, let me go get the kids. No, I'm talking to him. He grabs me by my neck,
Mm.
and he has me up against the wall, choking me. I mean, I'm like losing air and everything. And all I hear is, take your hands off your wife's neck now. You shut up. You don't know. No. Next thing I heard was click, click.
Uh-oh.
And all I felt was, and he said, move away from her. And he did say to the abuser, the only reason
You still alive.
you still alive is because Andrea and Kai.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started my kickboxing lessons, learning how to shoot a gun, just different things, just showing you have power.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to always be around. And then when
Right.
he confronted him another time, I saw this little puppy. I was like, now that's the same Rottweiler that will tear my behind up, but you can't stand up to a man.
Okay.
So then I started getting a little cocky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do so and so. I dare you. Come on with it. And we had
Uh-oh.
a Tina and Ike moment. Yes, we do. Yes, we did. We had a Tina and Ike moment. Remember that scene in the limousine?
Mm-hmm.
To this very day, he wears that scar.
Ooh. Wow. But Alicia, as we're talking about it, it's not just women who are abused. Men are
No.
also abused. And
Okay, so
I
mhm.
haven't been able to talk to or find a man who's been willing to come on the show and open up about it, because men have a different type of stigma. They're embarrassed
Oh, big time.
by the abuse.
Big time.
Yeah.
And that does happen in the LGBTQ. And excuse me, I'm not getting the acronym correct, but that does happen in their community. And you don't want to, but South Carolina stated that that's the other stats, that 29.2% of South Carolina men experience intimate partner and physical violence. So they are um, definitely reporting their abuse as well.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a cycle that if you can just get with the right person, I've seen my husband turn men lives around, have them crying like babies when they identify why they do it. And all
Mm.
they was like, that's because again, we have to get to the root of the issue. We like to play with the leaves and the branches. We like to play with the bark.
Mm-hmm.
But the roots of why we do what we do creates this massive tree that hunkers down, while some women just stay put, because my family already told me I wasn't going to be nothing anyway. At least I got a big old house and a car. He may bust my head to the white meat every now and then, but look what I got. And
Mm.
if I got to take a little bit of that, then that's what I'm going to take.
Wow. Oh.
But then your kids grow up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like a cycle, because what we're seeing is a cycle. Even with the victims and their children, it becomes to be a cycle for other women as well. Tell us, and when I say this, I'm talking about domestic violence victims, a message that you want to share with anyone who is going through and enduring domestic violence right now at this point.
Mm-hmm. You're stronger than you think you are. You can't change him. You can't conform to what he wants you to be. Every tear that you cry saddens God's heart. and yet you continue to ask yourself, where's God? God does not make any mistakes. The same way that I endured what I endured is because I have to be strong for you. So at this time, I'm giving you my hand to help pull you up, my sister, and we can do this together. It's not easy. Control, power, and control is not all in his hands. And unfortunately, we have seen it over and over again where we continue to be constantly mentally beat down. So, may I encourage you to reach out to me, and I'll give you my email address, and I will give you a few places that you call. I don't care where you are. We have a domestic violence Facebook account that I can give you that information after you email me. But do it afraid.
Mm.
Do it afraid.
Mm.
And that's very hard. It's very hard. But the other thing is, and Tammy, this is, I know the show is about to end, but the other thing is, once a woman gets out of an abusive relationship, do you know that they find another abusive relationship?
Mm.
That's a whole nother story
Mm-hmm.
because you become comfortable with what you know. And that good man that's trying to give you what you deserve, you gonna kick to the curb because you're used to somebody that's always making you feel less than. Some are women queens. Again, cry out for help because God is listening and there are people out here to help you.
Yeah.
And I can be reached at Simmons, that's Simmons, A is in Apple, S is in Sam, S is in Sam, C is in cat at gmail.com.
Okay. That's Simmons, ASSC at
Yes, ma'am.
gmail.com. Simmons with an S. I think Tiana is going to do that, or Willie, y'all going to put that email up. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you.
that. So if you'd like to get in touch with Alicia Simmons, go to Simmons, ASSC at gmail.com. Also, can you please show the domestic violence resources again, the website and the hotline? Thank you for that, Tiana and Willie, and Felicia, for putting that up. I tell you, Alicia, this has been a wonderful show to have you on, but more importantly, for you to be so transparent and share. And I thank you. I thank you. It helps me more than you will ever know. And so, I always got to ask before we go off the air, what's next for you? You're an entrepreneur. So what I want folks to understand is, out of all this that you have done, the abuse, you have your master's degree. You're working on a second master's so that you can help folks in social work. You have two businesses. Two businesses. You're a producer. It's just a lot of things that you have done and are doing where you have empowered yourself. And I see you empowering other women. So congratulations to you as well. But what's next? You gonna write this book?
Yes, yes, yes. So I am going to write a book. It's going to be, I keep telling everybody it's going to be a trilogy because there's so much in my life. And, I had to talk to grandmama and them before, I write something down, you know. So maybe about animals, but it's really about family. But no, I'm not going to do that. I am going to, after I finish school, I'm actually working on a curriculum um, for homeless people to become self-sustainable once they get an apartment. So that's a huge undertaking. And the first thing it starts with is forgiveness. And that's the other thing that I would like to tell you, ladies. You got to forgive yourselves because people say they're going to call you, "Oh, you so dumb, you staying with him." Don't listen to that. They don't know what you're going through.
That's right. You have to make up your own mind.
Mhm.
It's a matter. It's a state of mind. If you have that inkling and you're saying, it's time for me to go, um, then it's going to happen. Things are going to happen that are going to give you that a verbally abusive relationship. Thank you, Vanessa, for that. Thank you, Dre, as well, for joining the show.
Mhm.
Alicia, I'm just so grateful to you for sharing your experience with us and for giving us, and other women as well as men who are domestic violence victims, giving them those tidbits that can possibly change their lives, and being
Mhm.
open to share with them personally, because I know that you belong to a Facebook group and you help those women as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay. So I've got three words that describe you.
I am resilient through all the hell. I ain't trying to not. I ain't trying all the hell. I'm resilient. I am God fearing and trusting, and most of all, I am answering my call to help those that have cried out to God.
And you're no longer Jehovah Witness, correct?
Please make that very clear.
That's what we forgot to say that earlier.
Yeah, let me make that very clear. So no, I am with Apostolic Life Ministries in North Charleston under the tutelage of Apostle T. Vincent Simmons and Pastor Belinda Simmons. So
That's
no,
right.
I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness, and that's a funny story as well. When you hear about that, or read it in the book.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
From
look
yeah.
forward. Look, Alicia, I'm gonna look forward to that book, and look forward to talking with you more. We may have you come back on. And for those that don't know, you are going to be at the Black Tie Masquerade, because a portion of the proceeds goes to Casa Family Systems, which services Orangeburg, Bamberg, and Calhoun counties, and domestic violence victims, as well as sexually abused children. So,
Mm.
we are glad that you're going to be there to share with us as well, and share with CASA and the staff and board members there. So thank you again, Alicia. I love you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you got any last words you want to say? We've got like 1 minute.
1 minute,
Yep.
ladies, hit me up on email. I will get back to you. You can do this. Pull you up. Got you. Love you.
Love you. Love you, Alicia. Thank you again, Alicia, for being on the show. And thank you all for joining the show. Dre, I thank you, Celebrity Dre and Vanessa. Thank you all for being on the show. And I think Kai might have been looking as well. So I want to
So
thank
those
everybody.
are my daughters. That was Drea Lee. That's
Yep.
Andrea.
Andrea.
Vanessa Sanchez. That's my other child.
Yes,
I have
yes.
so many children out here, and again, that story that I shared that impacted them as well. But if mommy can do it, guys, y'all know y'all don't have no other choice.
That's right. That's right. And Kai and the Grands, we love you. And Dre and the Grands, we love you.
Love you, love you, love you, love you.
All right. Thank you so much, Alicia, for being on the show. I love you, my sister. You be blessed and take care, okay?
All right, good night.
I'll see you October 22nd.
All right, sure
Okay.
will.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye bye. All right. Let me tell you, this was a great show. It's a serious topic. Yes, domestic violence is a serious topic. And next week, we're going to be talking with Casa Family Systems, Labrina Aiken Furtick. She's the Chief Operating Officer. And we're going to be talking with her because a portion of the proceeds will go to Casa Family Systems, as I said. That's why we're doing this Black Tie Masquerade, folks. And so it's time for you to get your tickets. And it's a final call for you to be able to have your tickets. Come to a beautiful black and white formal event. Celebrity Chef Carlos is going to be preparing such a wonderful meal. Cocktails at 7, entertainment by Pure. I'm telling you, we're going to have a great time. And I just want everybody to be a part of this and come out and support the efforts for CASA Family Systems. All right. So without further ado, I want to thank producer Alicia, Tiana, Willie, Felicia. Thank you all so much. Please subscribe to the Tammy TV Show on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Let's be a blessing to somebody today and every day. I tell you what, we've got to do it. Call somebody today. So have a wonderful week and God bless you. Love you much. Bye-bye.